So my mum owned a salon in the UK. I didn't really know what I wanted to do with my life, but I didn't want to go to uni. That was not the option. Like I could have, and I was encouraged to by my school, but I'd never really wanted to. So I used to spend a lot of time in the salon, just after school and stuff like that. And I just kind of liked the vibe of it. So I joined. I asked mum if I could come through and, become a hairdressing apprentice and see what it was like. And she was like, yeah, sure. The salon catered for both male and female, but they had a very strong male clientele. One of the directors was heavily a barber, um, dominated, so to speak, right? So I kind of got interested in it, and I was taken to all these conventions and stuff like that, and I was like, yeah, okay, I'll do it. So I focused primarily on just cutting hair, like men's hair. But I started to get kind of complacent, kind of bored with that. So I asked if I was like, okay, can I transition now? And they were like, yeah, you can, no problem, but you're gonna have to start your apprenticeship all over again. I was like, okay, cool, I'll do what I have to do. In the meantime, I was sort of with my family moving to Australia. It was talk, should we go, should we not? So I kind of just left mid-apprenticeship and came to Australia, which was kind of a bit of a hindrance, but it is what it is, sort of thing. So yeah, that's how I actually ended up transitioning into hairdressing. Was from barbering, started hairdressing, moved to Australia, but then was sort of like solidified that I just wanted to do females hair. Oh, it was very different. It was culturally a different experience. You're coming from um, quite a linear, like one-way thinking sort of system where you're just a color, you're just a colorist, and there's no sort of room for jumping to this or that. Where when you come to Australia, you can be a colorist, cutter, a bridal hair. It doesn't matter. You can do everything. They'll give you that to do, and that's sort of not expected as a hairdresser, but yeah, most people do it here, which was a bit different from where I've come from. My own personal experience coming from Wales to here, um, interesting because I'm not used to that cultural diversity. So seeing, this person from the country here and this person's from Perth, and then you have some people from, like Asia and stuff like that, all into like an international students class was different to start with, but you also learn a lot about people's culture they come from and what inspired their hairdressing journey. So yeah, saying like the Perth is a diverse city also falls onto the educators here. Like I said, they all have their different specialties and background. So like I said, it wasn't so linear. I would have this trainer, I'd train 3 days a week at Taylor Weir, and one educator would be, in my opinion, more adapting cutting, and I'd learn so many different techniques from that trainer, and then this trainer is more adapting coloring. So, I would focus on coloring. So there's, like I said, I had more opportunities there's more strings on the bow I can learn under one umbrella than just this one thing that I have to learn. They host most Tuesday evenings. They'll have some sort of high profile hairdresser come and talk about their journey and what they're working on and what's made them get to where they are now. And that pretty much runs on a weekly to fortnightly basis. I think communication is a big one. I think the skills I've developed through Taylor Weir from communication is a big asset to me. Is having that empathy towards a client. I didn't learn that anywhere else really. I put it down to the trainers where they were talking about listen to your client, analyze the client in this way where, you can sort of gauge that it's more of a commercial and formal setting than an informal, a bit vibrant setting. Do you know what I mean? And sort of deduce what you're going to do for that client. I can pinpoint a sort of moment where everything just sort of clicks, and like, all the training I've had up until then is sort of just everything fell into place. And the trainers were very reassuring in that regard. They're like, you'll come, you just need to keep practicing, keep practicing, keep practicing. And I had a fussy, difficult client, very particular in what she wanted. And after listening to her and analyzing her, complexion and all that sort of jazz, like what she's wearing, what sort of job she does and all that, I deduced that the cut she wanted wasn't right for her. And through the backing of my educators to make an educated decision to change the style, which she adored, which she really liked. But through my training here, I wouldn't have achieved that or the confidence to do that. The main attribute I can atone for that is probably bridging the gap. So put in an example as a male that is very particular with his hair, right? Understanding how a barber operates and going through that qualification with the blending and the fading, the very short increments within barbering, and then applying the structural, effortless cutting ability of a hairdresser into one person is very beneficial for that person, if you know what I mean. So like, where hairdressing don't entirely have the focus on men's short fading, but they cover a massive range of structural cutting. And then you have that detailed fading ability from the barbering side. You can create things that neither one or the other can do on their own. So you bridge that sort of gap in the middle. I think the things just fall into place and you go along with them, you know, and you enjoy them. Do you know what I mean? Like, it hasn't been a pressure, like I have to do this or I have to do that, but very more of an encouraging point of view from Taylor Weir. Easy to communicate and guide if I've had any questions or any worries about certain things. The educators are very approachable, and you tend to build a good relationship with your educators because you go on this journey all the way through. So when coming to the full circle back where I'm now assisting or teaching in salon, and I'm still very welcomed in Taylor Weir, and if I have any questions or pointers, I can ask the educators and they'll point me in the right direction, how they cope with it. I think prior to that, I had opportunities to go over east to Salon International, work Perth Fashion Festival, and shoots, but all with the backing and encouragement of my boss and school that I came to. Because I would always go for advice. And I'd be like, what do you reckon? Do you reckon do this? Yeah, like, yeah, go for it. You'll love it. You'll kill it. Do you know what I mean? Well, it's very empowering. The ability to be presented the opportunity to now show my skills that I've learned to the upcoming students in Taylor Weir. It feels great. It sort of solidifies that, yes, what you've learned can be implemented and does work and works very effectively all through Taylor Weir. Interesting. It's sort of looking like a third person back in time. But also I feel like then I can help them because I understand the situation they're in. Do you know, there's that relation that I was like, I've been there, I know what you're doing, don't get frustrated, because it will click. To be able to come here and participate and witness like these nights where they have guest artistry come over and stuff like that, because you're always still welcome. Even if you're not a student in Taylor Weir, they'll still have the door open for you to come and watch and learn. So yeah, I feel like that itself is a big positive that a lot of people don't do. I can only speak for personal opinion, but I would like to say it's pinnacle. It's very forward thinking in that regard. The fact that the continuous learning, even after qualifying and leaving the school, is a big positive, because the industry is always changing and evolving due to fashion cycles and stuff like that. So yeah, the ability to then step back and go, actually no, yes, I know how to do this, but I can always learn more, and having the opportunity to do that through Taylor Weir is really good.